have found the Genesis frequency. This is Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina welcoming you in to another episode of a show that focuses on your whole life prosperity and success. Whole life prosperity and success by cooperating with the universal laws that are available to each and every one of us. This is Quantum Leap Goal Achievement, radical personal transformation, whole life prosperity and success. Now, stay tuned for another exciting episode that'll move the needle in your life from where you are now to where you want to be. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you are in the world, when you hit that play button. So glad you did. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Kazmina coming at you with this entry in the Genesis Frequency Series podcast. And I'm coming at you right now. When I'm coming at you, this is December, December of 2023. I usually don't throw out dates because I really feel these podcasts are ageless, and everything that I share with you is, there's tremendous value in all these episodes, and they are ageless. So, you know, disregard the dates really. If you're listening to this and you're saying, "Oh, wow, that was a couple years ago," it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because number one, I find that most people stay in the same place because they don't have the initiative to pick up a call to work with somebody to move from where they are to where they want to be. They say they want it, but they don't do anything about it. So everything that I offer here is valuable wherever you are on your path of achievement, of improvement. This show is about personal and professional and leadership development. It's from it's about moving from where you are to where you want to be. It's about being a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday, right? We can all do better. We can all be better. We can all show up better. And you're put here for a reason. I talk to people all the time. They say, I don't know what I want. Well, I think you do. I think you do, but we lack that faith sometimes. We lack that belief in our ability to move what we want from thought, the invisible world of non-form, into the physical world of form. And you have to have that faith and belief. As I record this, it's a Sunday. It's the first Sunday in Advent, and when we look to religiosity, the first Sunday of Advent represents faith and hope. Now, this show isn't about religion and spirituality and all that stuff, but we can borrow something from that and take a look at faith. We have to have a belief in this the substance of this vision that we have for our lives. I think you know what you want. It's tapping at the door of your soul every day as longing and discontent, as a place in you that feels empty, that feels there's got to be more to it than this. And there's something that you want that has been elusive for whatever reason. So you got to move into that place of belief in you. And you know what? Belief is something that you can borrow. A lot of people don't know this. You can borrow my belief in you because I know that your potential is infinite. I know that your ability to think thoughts, because you're listening to this, right? I know you have the ability to think thoughts. And if you can think thoughts, you can create the life you would love to live. So let's just talk about that for a few minutes because this is probably going to be the last episode, taking some time off over the holiday season. However, I do not take the time off. I might take the time away from the podcast, but I don't take the time away from getting on the phone with listeners. Remember, if you're a listener to the show, that means if you're listening to this right now, You can reach out to me and we can have a conversation about getting you unstuck, about moving you from where you are to where you want to be. Go to successappointment.com, which is my calendar. It's not a sales page. It's not a for a program or anything like that. It's just simply my calendar that'll open up in your time zone. Successappointment.com. Success appointment, all one word. You pick a time, we hop on the phone, we have a conversation. Usually I say there's three parts to it. We identify, hey, what is it that you really want? And why don't you have it? Why don't you have it yet? Right? We all have something, and most of us, hey, I really want this, but for some reason I get so far and then I stumble. Well, we'll talk about that, and then I'll set you on your way with a definite plan that you can take to move you from where you are into what you want to experience in your life. It's a be, do, have process, and the call is free for you. Successappointment.com. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about that thought and belief. You have this infinite potential within you. We all do. And I'm going to share again. I've been sharing off and on from the Master Key System by Charles Hannell. Great book. I used it for my dissertation. I used it for my thesis in my metaphysical degrees on the subconscious mind and in visualization and the power of our imagination and all that. Great book for making manifest our dreams. Okay. And in part 12 here, we're talking a little bit about thought. And I just want to share 4 points with you that he shares here and talk about them a little bit because this really ties in with our faith and belief. You say, yeah, I hear this guy on the podcast, this Dr. Pause guy, whoever that is, and he says I can be, do, and have it all. I can have anything I want in life as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. But, you know, I don't know about that. I got some pretty big dreams. Well, good for you, because most people I talk to, they tell me they don't know what they want. But if you got some pretty big dreams, guess what? They are possible for you. So, point one here in part 12 of this great book here says, point one says, there is no purpose in life that cannot be best accomplished through a scientific understanding of the creative power of thought. All right, so this point is telling me, hey, there's no purpose, no dream, no goal, no aspiration. There's nothing that cannot be accomplished. That's what I'm talking about when I say your potential is infinite. I believe in you. I believe in your ability. If you don't believe in your ability, you can borrow my belief in you because I not only believe in you, I know it's possible because of this point, because I have that scientific understanding of how things move from the world of the invisible, non-form to the visible world of form. I have a scientific understanding of that, and I have proven it over and over again in my own life. And I know that it's possible for you. In fact, that's my whole purpose and mission is to help and to show more and more people that they don't have to live a life of mediocrity. They can live in and from their dreams day in and day out. So think about this. If there's no purpose in life that cannot be best accomplished through a scientific understanding of the creative power of thought, how do I get more of that understanding? Well, first of all, I suggest you make an appointment with me, successappointment.com. But listen to all these podcasts. I'm wrapping up my 5th year of throwing out free value. And I'm really seriously considering moving to a paid version. So you might want to get all these in that you can right now. I'm not sure, but I have been giving it away for a long, long time, sharing this wisdom, sharing this value, sharing a way for you in a simple way, gain that understanding, scientific understanding, that formula that we all use, that everybody uses, whether consciously or unconsciously, to move what they want into form from the invisible, from this substance, this infinite substance that we can draw upon and mold it and shape it, and move it into our reality. So we got to get that understanding. So you have to study. And I'm not talking about reading many books. That's not the way people read books. The retention is not there. They remember very, very little. I study books. I'll take a big beefy book and I'll get through it because if I sit down and read it, I probably won't get through it. I got so many unfinished books. But if I say I'm going to set the intention and really study that book, I'll take 2 pages at a time, maybe 4 pages at a time. I'll write notes and I'll highlight and I'll go back and read it again and again and again. It's make no mistake, it's the repetition. It's the repetition, spaced repetition that will find a permanent place, enable the information to find a permanent place, not only in your consciousness, but in your activities. So you're applying and moving into action steps that which you are learning. So there's a way to do this. You can study personal, professional, and leadership development and hopefully work with somebody that's going to help you uncover the paradigms and the habits that are lying in there and controlling just about everything you think, say, and do. So you got to identify that stuff and you got to move it out. You got to replace it. And there's a scientific process to do that as well. Let's talk. Point two here says the power to think is common to all. So you're here, you can think. It's a common thing. We can all have that ability to think. Mankind is because he thinks. We are because we think, right? Mankind's power to think is infinite. Consequently, his or her creative power is unlimited. This is another reason why I believe in you, and I suggest you find that faith in yourself and belief in yourself. Listen to this, because your power to think is infinite. Consequently, your creative power is unlimited. Your creative power, you can create anything it is that you desire to create in your life. You are not limited by anything but your own thoughts and your own beliefs. Henry Ford said, if you believe you can or if you believe you can't, you're right. So do some examination. I'm taking some of this time off during this holiday season. I suggest you take some time and schedule it in your planner. Yes, you should have a physical planner and schedule some time to do this. Hey, what are my limiting beliefs? What are the beliefs that have to go, that I have to get rid of? They're holding me back. Where did these beliefs come from in the first place? They got to go, right? So you got to engage with that infinite thought and think from the infinite, right? Not think about the infinite, think from the infinite, think from all things are possible. Because you now know, you're getting that understanding that your creative power is unlimited. You can create anything it is that you desire. All right, point three, and I'm only going to share 4 points here. Point three, we know that thought is building for us the thing we think of and actually bringing it nearer. Yet we find it difficult to banish fear, anxiety, and discouragement, all of which are powerful thought forces and which continually send the things we desire further away, so that it is often one step forward and two steps backward. This is one of the biggest stumbling blocks I see out there, that I hear about when I talk to people. And it's this right here, this counter intention, counterintuitive, counterproductive, counter thought, whatever you want to call it. We get a little, we build this idea, we build this dream, we get specific, we crystallize our thinking, we decide what it is we want, and we're getting it all together using the power of our imagination, building it out. How does it look? How does it feel? And it's all good, right? And then we slip back into place of fear. We get closer and closer and closer to the thing we want being a reality in our lives, which means we're probably edging closer to stepping outside the comfort zone, right? So what do? We allow that fear to creep in. Hey, it's that part of us that maybe it's the ego, maybe it's just that part of us that has been so conditioned and programmed that we're to remain in a place in consciousness and our lives where it's comfortable. Don't go any farther. Come back here. You don't know what's out there. And that part of us, we start listening to that. The inner chatter, an inner dialogue starts to turn negative from positive to negative, and it starts to reel us back in. Hey, where are you going? Who do you think you are? You're not smart enough. You can't do that, you know? And we buy into that. This point is so important. We have thought and we can build this thing in our consciousness and bring it closer to ourselves, but we have to eliminate the fear, the anxiety, any stress about it, right? Any discouragement or any thoughts that are telling us that we can't do that. This is so important. Just like this point says, we take a step forward and then we take two step backwards. And what I mean by seeing it out there, I'll look at social media points and law of attraction groups and Neville Goddard groups and Abraham Hicks groups and power of positive expectation groups and metaphysical minds and metaphysical magazine and new thought movement worldwide, all these. And you get that one or two persons all the time. Well, I tried this and it didn't work. The moment you start buying into something didn't work for you, you're going backwards. You're taking those two step backwards. Law is law. Go back to point one. Anything is possible. Anything can be accomplished through a scientific understanding of the creative power of thought. So if you're having thoughts that something isn't working in your life, if you're having thoughts that something isn't possible in your life, if you're having thoughts that things are possible for other people but not you, guess what? You are right. But on the flip side of that coin is what you want. So if your thoughts are, yeah, I can have this. I can be the person that experienced this vision that I'm holding in my imagination. I can do this thing. I can have this experience. I can have this life, whatever it is. Any area of your life, what is it? Your thought is creative. Your power is unlimited. Your thought power is unlimited. Think from the infinite. Don't buy into the limiting thoughts. You're going backwards, and these people post all the time, it doesn't work. That's like saying it's law. It's a scientific understanding of law, the law of manifestation, the law of infinite potential. What we think about, we bring about. Our thoughts create our reality, right? Our dominant thoughts wrapped with feeling and emotion. The formula is always the same. Thoughts plus feelings plus actions equals results, right? So if we're thinking thoughts about things that we don't want to make manifest in our lives, and that's where we're wrapping our feeling and emotion, I don't want that. And we're all day long, that's what's going to show up. But if our dominant thoughts are thinking from the infinite and knowing that we have the power, whether we see it right now, whether we are experiencing it right now, that power, we got to stay in that place of positive expectation. So that's what we're talking about here. Keep moving forward. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, or something like that. Quoting Bryce Pritchard here, but just know that's where that faith comes in. You might not see it right away, but don't jump to a conclusion that this isn't working because law works. Law is law. It's like saying gravity doesn't work. I walked off that building the other day and I just kind of stood there in midair and was floating up there. Gravity is nonsense. It doesn't work. Law of mathematics doesn't work. I had two apples on one side of the table. I had two apples on the other side of the table. I put them together, and the law of mathematics said I should have four, and I didn't. I only had three. Well, what's flawed? The thinking is flawed. You're going to have four. You take two from one side, two from the other side, put them together, you're going to have four. It's a law of mathematics. That's the law of addition, right? So to just make a statement from a place of ignorance that something doesn't work because you don't have yet the scientific understanding or the belief in the understanding, you can't just label it that it's not working. That's how you drive yourself backwards. Okay, so know that. Fourth and final point here. The only way to keep from going backward is to keep going forward. Eternal vigilance is the price of success. There are 3 steps, and each one is absolutely essential. You must first have the knowledge of your power. That's what we've been talking about, the knowledge of your infinite power. The second is the courage to dare make that movement. You can't just think about it. It's thought, word, and action, right? The courage to move. And the third is the faith. And that's what we've been talking about this whole episode today, the faith to do so. I don't see it. I don't see the whole staircase. I just see the first step, so I'm going to take it. I have the courage to take that step. I have the courage to move outside the comfort zone. I don't know quite what's outside that comfort zone, but I have the faith that I will step on a firm foundation. And when I do step outside that comfort zone, I know that I will be closer to the life I would love to live, to the dream. Now, remember, this is the way that we get past and banish fear, anxiety, and discouragement. So go back and listen to these and know that these are cumulative. This whole part 12 in this book has, oh boy, there's 27 points, and we get back together. I'll pick up here where I left off, but this is powerful stuff here today. Powerful, powerful stuff. You are infinite. Take this time now, if you haven't already. Over the last several months, I've given you all the tools you need to prepare for what's next for you. What do the next 12 months hold for you? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to be, do, and have in your life? You have everything you need handed to you here. You didn't even pay for it. You should. That's another story. But listen to me. Make an appointment with me. And that, you know what? This is for you as an individual. This is for you. That's personally. This is for you as an entrepreneur, a small business owner. This is for you in your corporate environment on a corporate team. Whether you're a C-suite executive somewhere on the corporate team, supervisor, manager, frontline, doesn't matter. This works the same way. You get to define what it is you want, right? And speaking of that, if you want to step into the wonderful world of being an entrepreneur in the field of personal, professional, and leadership development, reach out to me as well. Let's have a conversation about moving into a very lucrative income for yourself and your family. Successappointment.com, same calendar. We can talk about it all. Hey, that's going to do it for today. It's going to do it for today. I wish you very happy holidays, however you celebrate them. Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all that. And I will be back just after the beginning of the first of the year. These podcasts come out every Thursday morning at 2 a.m. Central Time, same time as Chicago or Houston. 2 o'clock in the morning Central Time. I record early in the week and I schedule them to be published. And been doing it like that for a long time. When I come back, we'll be in our 6th year of this show, going out all over the world, to countries all over the world, to listeners all over the world, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of downloads. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you and tell you I appreciate every single listener that listens to this show and comes back and listens again and again, or maybe you listen once, but hopefully you've gotten something out of this. Hopefully I've given back and giving you something that you can apply in your life, take action on, and improve your quality of life and living by living from your purpose, your reason for being here, and moving into more of life. That's going to do it for now. That's going to do it for wrapping up this year. This is Dr. Cause and Effect, Dr. Stephen J. Cusmino, wishing you an infinitely spectacular day. God bless you.